Christine Brennan just exposed the WNBA in a major way.
Christine Brennan is one of the best sports writers in the country, has been for a long time.
Caitlin Clark is way more important to the WNBA than Tiger Woods was to men's golf, even though he was huge. And to then see this negativity, like why and what should have been done? I look seriously at the leadership of the WNBA. And how could you not be prepared for this moment? You've seen it happening in the Big Ten. You've seen it at Iowa. You see these TV ratings.
The WNBA just got exposed in the most brutal way possible. USA Today's legendary journalist Christine Brennan has officially had enough, and she dropped a bombshell that rocked the league to its core. From petty behavior to outright mistreatment of Caitlin Clark, Brennan brought the receipts. And what she revealed is nothing short of damaging. Her report paints a picture of a league struggling with credibility, calling out everything from jealousy among veterans to questionable decisions at the highest levels. It's a scathing reality check that should have everyone from the commissioner's office to the locker rooms on edge. So now we ask, is the WNBA's mishandling of Caitlin Clark rooted in jealousy, or is it just pure incompetence? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you think envy is playing a major role, let us know with a jealousy is real comment. Let's get into it.
It came out. What she had to say in this book was going to shake the ground of the WNBA. She's been around for a very long time, and she knows the inner and outer workings of this league. Christine Brennan let it be known in multiple interviews that the WNBA was not ready for a superstar like Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA just got exposed in the most brutal way possible. USA Today's legendary journalist Christine Brennan has officially had enough, and she dropped a bombshell that rocked the league to its core. From petty behavior to outright mistreatment of Caitlin Clark, Brennan brought the receipts. And what she revealed is nothing short of damaging. Her report paints a picture of a league struggling with credibility, calling out everything from jealousy among veterans to questionable decisions at the highest levels. It's a scathing reality check that should have everyone from the commissioner's office to the locker rooms on edge. So now we ask, is the WNBA's mishandling of Caitlin Clark rooted in jealousy, or is it just pure incompetence? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you think envy is playing a major role, let us know with a jealousy is real comment. Let's get into it.
The thing I don't get, Christine, is that in the case of Tiger and in the case of Jordan, the other players and the league around them, in Tiger's case, the PGA Tour, realized that a rising tide raises all boats and were incredibly supportive of Tiger and Jordan. With Caitlin, it seems like, for whatever reason, she's polarizing. Like she's been hit with more flagrant fouls than any player ever this year. They tried to come at you when you were writing a story and said, don't ask questions about why people don't like Caitlin Clark. But I'm going to ask you, Christine, why is she polarizing in your opinion? Why do people not embrace the phenomenon that is Caitlin Clark?
Brennan didn't show up to hand out participation trophies. She exposed the ignorance, jealousy, and sheer laziness of the WNBA's leadership when the biggest star in women's basketball history landed right in their lap. Caitlin Clark isn't just another rising talent, she's the force who dragged the WNBA out of the background and into the national spotlight. But instead of celebrating their sudden relevance, it seems the league was reaching for antacids, not champagne, because they couldn't stand the spotlight she brought with her.
One of the big points in the book, I deal with all of this and my research and reporting, because I was perplexed as well. I mean, this is the greatest moment ever for the WNBA. Yep. We wish it happened sooner. Of course we wish it happened sooner. There were amazing players who, as you know, both you guys know, were toiling in obscurity, the male-dominated mainstream sports media ignoring them.
This is just one of the jaw-dropping revelations from Brennan's exposé, the day after Caitlin Clark officially declared for the 2024 draft. She picked up the phone and called a top WNBA executive, looking for insight, maybe a little excitement. You'd expect a moment like that to come with fireworks, confetti, maybe even a media blast, right? Not even close. Instead, the league official calmly told her that her arrival was the biggest moment since Maya Moore. Maya Moore, respectfully, legend, no doubt, but to the general public outside of die-hard basketball fans, she was barely a recognizable name. The kind of star who could walk through a grocery store without turning a single head.
From home like everybody else. And I think, guys, that actually helped
me understand as a journalist the fascination, because I've covered a lot over my career and been very fortunate to be at Wimbledon's and Super Bowls and Tiger Woods and you name it, I've covered it. And I'm so lucky to have done that. And I found myself fascinated, like, who is this? And I'm getting text messages from guys who would never have watched a second of women's basketball. Good guys, they want their daughters to play sports. I mean, good people, but just And they're texting, are you there? I'm watching. Are you seeing this performance? And that told me something that I actually was very helpful to be at home watching it versus being on press row, talking to a bunch of other journalists, that like, okay, there's something going on in the country here. And it's everyone's fascinated and people are standing in line for hours in the cold around the Big Ten, this barnstorming tour. And it's all about a basketball player who happens to be a woman.
This is where Brennan's decades of experience truly shine. She immediately saw what the league's top brass completely missed. Caitlin Clark wasn't just another elite athlete. She was a cultural tidal wave, ready to shatter the outdated idea that the WNBA was a niche product. While clueless execs were busy comparing her to stars who barely moved the needle, Brennan understood that the entire nation was about to tune into the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. And how did the league respond? To her invaluable insight, they did absolutely nothing. They sat on their hands, failing to act on what could have been the easiest marketing slam dunk in modern sports history. The incompetence almost unbelievable. But trust us, it gets worse.
Unauthorized, which is not ominous at all. You want it to be unauthorized because I can tell the truth, unvarnished. Caitlin's quoted throughout the book. She was great answering any question I asked her. But dealing with these important issues. So you've got a 74% black league. We understand this. I mean, I'm white. Ramona, I think you guys are white.
Yeah.
We have no idea what it's like to be black in America. And I say that. Let's be brutally honest here. Here comes a white woman from Iowa, and she's going to be the biggest superstar. Now, absolutely, the spotlight's shining on her. Finally, it's shining on all these other players who deserved it for years but never got it. And that's a wonderful turn of events. But instead of focusing on the positives, sadly, the WNBA players, so many of them, not all.
And it's not like this came out of nowhere. As Brennan's reporting makes clear, plenty of journalists and even YouTubers had been following Clark since her Iowa days, all recognizing that she was something special. Her rise wasn't a surprise, it was a countdown. Yet somehow, the WNBA front office couldn't be bothered to check the most basic data. Despite Clark's massive, engaged fan base, ready to pack arenas, the second she went pro, the league didn't even glance at the numbers, and those numbers told the whole story. In 2023, the Indiana Fever averaged just 4,000 fans per game, about what you'd expect at a Texas high school gym on a slow Tuesday. But the moment Caitlin Clark suited up for a preseason game, fans were lining up outside 2 hours early like it was a Taylor Swift concert. Facility security was caught completely off guard. They'd never seen anything like it.
And an antagonist. And I've argued that the NBA could use a little bit more of hero and villain to popularize the sport again. The WNBA does not need that, because for a lot of America, Caitlin Clark is the hero. And anyone that comes to Caitlin Clark's defense is a hero. And everyone that flagrantly fouls her, speaks poorly of her, acts like she's not great, is the villain. And then vice versa on that. How big of a part of the story is that when you look at the conflict surrounding Caitlin Clark?
So how did the WNBA capitalize on this wave of new fans? Did they roll out the red carpet for their once-in-a-generation superstar? Launch bold, attention-grabbing marketing campaigns? Not even close. Instead, they reacted like bitter old neighbors, almost annoyed that the spotlight had finally found them. It was as if they preferred the comfort of their small pond to the vast potential of the open ocean. The missed opportunity. Almost too unbelievable to be real.
We got grown men on talking head shows wanting to fight each other over women's basketball and talking about it, right? We've got all these hot takes about all this going on, Christine. How big of a part of the story is that for you, and is that for this book?
I deal with it for sure in the book. And, I think what we've seen is surprising to me. Having covered women's sports as well as men's, for the length of my career,